David.
Okay, well, let's get ripping here. Welcome, Dave Gonzalez, newly ensconced Vice President. I just wanted to have a little discussion session with our area governors about their thoughts on this new growth strategy that the Public Image Committee came up with next year. Um, we'll first take a look at what that strategy looks like in a brief review for the new governor and had an opportunity to go to last year's training. So at least I understand what the veterans are commenting about when we get to that portion. I would urge you to put your name in the name tag section of the screen. And if you have a comment, please raise your hand. We are recording this session, and that'll give people that could not make it today an opportunity to view it later. So with that said, let's talk a little bit about what we're trying to do here today. Well, we're trying to acquaint the new governors with this concept of the growth strategy. And what is that about? Well, we're trying to address the issue of rapidly decreasing membership in this organization. I think it's fair to say that it isn't a result of people being dissatisfied with SIR and leaving because they're shortchanged or they're upset. It's really about our members aging out. Well, what does that mean on the ground? Well, they have health issues, so they go into a care facility. They have care facilities, so they move out of a SIR city to be with their children to help them with their care. They pass away. That's why we're losing members. And as you've probably heard before, median age of a SIR member right now is pretty close to 80 years old. What is that doing to us? Well, of course, we're losing members. We're also losing branches. And I think as a result of our median age, we're probably finding it difficult to recruit SIR leaders in the branches in the state. People 80 and past have paid their dues to SIR, and they're not in a position in their life where they want to devote limited time to managing a SIR operation. They've already done that. So what's the answer? Well, let's get some younger members in here, and hopefully we can impress upon them when they come in. Part of their responsibility, part of it is to participate in the government of this organization. We're an all volunteer organization. And if we are going to continue to live, we not only need membership, but we need leaders who are willing to manage this operation. So in the past, we have relied upon one-to-one recruiting. And for a number of years, through a good growth spurge, that worked well. At this point, it's become clear that one-on-one recruiting in and of itself is not sufficient to keep the numbers up, or we wouldn't be seeing this decreased membership. The other issue with one-to-one recruiting is we have hard statistics over the last few years that clearly demonstrate the new members coming in through one-to-one recruitment look just like their sponsors. Their median age is right at 80. And I suspect that they are at a point in their life where they're probably not ready to participate as leaders in the organization. This isn't to say we don't want them. We do want them. This isn't to say that one-on-one recruiting isn't important. It is important. What we want to move forward to is a new strategy that works alongside our traditional one-to-one recruiting. Okay. So what is that one-to-one strategy? Well, let's talk about that. And I think we've lost Mary here, have we? Are you here, Mary?
I'm here, but I just arrived a little bit late.
Okay, Mary,
Sorry.
Can you put up slide number 2? Growth strategy.
You have to allow it, Dave.
Okay, I don't have you down as co-host, right? Okay, all right, here we go. There you go.
And
okay.
Can everybody see that?
Can we all see that kind of? All right. Well, all right. What's our growth strategy campaign elements? Branding. What is branding about? Well, it is a message. And the greatest message we have towards recruitment and SIR is that we offer fun, which is partly activities, and we offer friendship. And these are both qualities that people want. And we combine this message with an image, which is made up of SIR logo and certain designs and colors, so that all the messages that we send out to the general public have a very common look. And you're familiar with this when you look at the Target ads, for instance, in the newspaper each week. They certainly have different text, they have different products for sale, but they always look like a Target ad. You know immediately what store is offering those products, okay? Well, that's the kind of recognition we want in the general public about SIR, our organization. And we propagate these images, that is to say, we get them out into the public domain through social media, community relations speaker bureaus, SIR YouTube channel, which we are giving birth to, media relations, such as the press releases that our president developed for us, through our golf programs. And increasingly, we're going to see the value of public interest spots on local TV. There's a long tradition in both the traditional TV programs and cable TV to provide space to local speakers to talk about issues, trends, organizations that serve the community. And we'll be providing some insight into how SIR members can book some time on one of these local TV spots and talk to the public about what we have to offer in SIR. Rick, would you like to add something to that? Well, okay.
No,
can we have the next slide?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I had. That's kind of something that we've kind of thought of here in the last month or so, that we think that we need to get the biggest bang for the buck, and we're hoping that TV spots might be it. So I've asked Dave and Tony to look in that, and I haven't talked to Mary, but Mary's I'm sure had that in the back of her mind too, that we really need to get it out in front of the public. I just had a friend of mine that I've known for 30 years. We haven't really talked much. We were on a Little League board together in the 80s that joined a branch in Modesto, and he lives like 2 miles from me. He didn't even know we had a branch in Turlock. So, which is fine. At least he joined SIRS, but it just goes to prove he'd been around for so long and didn't know about SIRS. So You know, we do our press releases and everything else, but it's visibility we've been talking about at the board level. You know, some of you branches that are 200 or 300 guys, you don't have a problem, but we start having branches that are down less than 100, we're starting to have problems with leadership. So, and survival of the branch. So I want to really make the push on TV.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Let me make a short comment about social media that may answer some of your questions and concerns that come up later. There's certainly an argument can be made that a large number of our current members are not interested in social media. They don't use social media. That may be true, but, and here's the big but, mostly we want to go to social media to advertise, to propagate to prospective younger members.
Dave, can I interrupt for just a minute, please?
Sure.
I just got a message from Neil Wheeler, and he is on another Zoom that he sent out, I guess, and he has 4 people on his Zoom meeting. So I sent him your URL for the Zoom meeting. So he should.
All right.
Okay, that's about it.
Thank you, Tony. Okay, we'll be able to welcome those people in just a minute. All right, so it's certainly true that a number of our members don't use social media. But again, social media is viewed here as a vehicle to get to the outside world, to people that are younger and are not currently SER members who could be, if only we break into their consciousness and tell them of SER. So even if you've got a branch that has a relatively high median age, doesn't have members that want to use social media, if they can use email on the internet, it's relatively easy to learn to use the social media networks that we're talking about, the channels, okay? And we can give them instruction and they can pass content out to their local community. Okay, next one, reach the public. All right, so we're talking about establishing first and foremost a growth team in the branches. And what are we talking about? Well, we're not talking about going out and trying to fill a bunch of new positions. No. What we're trying to do here is bring together volunteer leaders that already exist in a branch, get them together, work as a team, communicate with one another, to work together with one another, to help one another. And these are people like the website editor, the newsletter editor, ramp chairs in charge of recruiting activities, membership and publicity chair, or other BEC members willing to participate. Have them work as a team on attraction of new members so that they are all using the brand guide. They're all putting out common messages to the community that are interesting and attractive. So one of the first steps in a branch that wants to take on this new strategy to get members is to bring these people together that already exist in their branch structure and get them working together on this project of getting message and image out to the public. Next one. Now, at our last training, we suggested some steps for the AGs. Can we move to that? It's goals for AGs. Okay. We asked the governors to reach out to their branches, tell them about this project, And then take a look at their set of branches and see if there is one or two branches that would be willing and able to participate, okay? We don't expect this project to start simultaneously in all branches in the area. That's asking too much of you governors, and it's just unrealistic. But the question is, do you have one or two branches that would be interested in this and would have the ability to do it? They have the important growth team positions filled. They have good newsletters. They have good activities. And generally, they have some degree of innovation that they're willing to take. Then we asked you to meet with the chairs and the BEC and improve communications. That is, get these growth team members together, having regular meetings to strategize, to put together a plan to bring our image to the public through social media. We ask that in these initial branches that you work to improve the branding to meet the standards. Does their newsletter, does their website match the so-called brand guide that we've developed? Help the people do that. And then finally, reach out with the growth team to engage the members and the public. Once they're trained up, they know how to use social media. They've got their branding material matching the brand guide. Help them start sending those initial messages to the public. And again, this is one or two branches that you found that are the most able, the most willing. Okay. So do I have any questions about the material we've gotten over so far? For the new governors, it's probably quite a lot to digest in this brief overview, but in general, are there any questions about the strategy, what we're trying to accomplish here? Okay, let's go to the discussion session. And this is where we'd like to have a frank and to the point discussion with you governors, whom we are asking to make this thing work. First of all, any comments about what you like about this plan?
It seems like a good plan to communicate with the other branches in your areas, and especially the ones that are the strongest ones that can help develop plans to bring together the branches that are a little weaker than the stronger ones.
Okay. John, did you want to talk?
Yeah, I did, Dave. Are you going to get into recommendations or options of how we can execute these plans in each?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, yeah. I'll stay silent then. Thank you.
All right. Any other particular suggestions? Okay. Let's talk about this. Confusion about this program. Is there some part of this that you don't quite understand, or some part of this that doesn't seem clear, that we can help by reiterating an idea?
Dave, this is Bob Nadell again. I think you got some good elements that you've outlined. I think that's a good first step. I just think that in many of the branches that are losing members and they're getting old and nobody wants to volunteer anymore, it's going to be hard to get them motivated to put together a growth team to address an issue that probably many of them don't care about anymore. They're just, biding out their time. And if it folds, it folds.
Yeah.
Good case is one of the branches out in Oakmont in Sonoma County here. I sent out a letter to all the big SIRs in my area, and I got a response back from him. Take me off your list. I'm no longer involved in SIRs. I'm done with SIRs. And I only asked them if I sent it to the wrong person, to send it on to the right person. And, so he's just fed up with it. And he indicated to me that, he doesn't even think that branch will survive. There are two branches in Oakmont, but they both had over 100 for a long time. So I'm concerned about pulling together volunteers, because what we're doing here is pulling together volunteers of guys that have other responsibilities, or maybe they don't even exist in some of the branches. We're pulling together guys that are trying to pull together people that aren't too willing to be pulled together.
Yeah, this is a good comment, Bob. I'm glad you brought it up. We need to settle this one for the success of this project. I guess number one, we probably need a second strategy for helping what would you call them, very sick branches survive. And I don't think it's this one. To try and take this strategy to branches that sort of have one foot on a banana peel and the other one in the grave would be a waste of time, and it would probably make the people in the branch want to give up all the more sooner. This is for a branch that has some health, reasonably good members, to get even stronger, okay? And so this is one of the reasons we're suggesting that rather than try and introduce this in all your branches in your area, is to pick one or two that are most likely to succeed. What that does is that gives you a win, which you can then take perhaps to the other branches. But still, Bob, your comment about, well, what about the branches that have exceedingly old members that are just biding their time or waiting their time until they have to leave? Sir, this is not the strategy for them. And I think we really need to develop a strategy, a specific strategy for those branches that are near death. Does that help your confusion there?
Yeah, I think it does. It's good to know that. And I hadn't thought about the possibility of, building success and then being able to brag about it to other groups. So that's a good point as well.
Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah, but we need to help. We need to help governors with those branches that are in severe trouble. You need some tools to work with, and it may mean some kind of a team from other branches that help out. I don't know. We can have that discussion at a different point. And I think those branches that are in deep trouble, they deserve some care. Any other confusion that we can overcome here?
Yeah, John Kent has his hand raised, and so does Dean.
John?
Unmute. John Kent.
I'm here.
Hi. Did you want to comment?
Repeat the question, please.
I say, did you want to comment? Did you have something that's confusing you about this plan you'd like to settle?
No, not at all, Dave. But I understand the objectives. I understand our mission. The question that I had was, at what point are we going to chew around the ideas of getting it implemented? And you mentioned that that's coming down the road. So I just turned my my mute off and my video off because I didn't want to see you guys. I want you guys to see me. Didn't want you guys to see the story.
Okay.
But once we get to the execution, I'm sure I'll have several questions.
Thank you. Dean?
Yeah, I guess my concern is that we're losing a lot of interest in SIR because of the fact our inability to have activities.
Yes.
And, you know, and the fact that we don't have activities, you know, this plan is going after people, but we have little to offer them at the moment. And that's my biggest concern.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
You know, we have little to offer them, and you know, and we're going to be out there beating the bushes and trying to get people to join, and we got little to offer them.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because this timing issue is key.
Hey, Dave, can I jump in?
Pardon?
This is Hafter. Can I jump in?
Sure.
I keep raising my hand and it keeps going away.
I'm sorry. We're not trying to marginalize you.
Let the record reflect that Region 5 has 100% attendance of its 3 area governors today. I reported, following up on what Dean just mentioned, COVID is still our enemy.
Yes.
Okay. My Fremont branch, which is Area 15's strongest branch, just met this week. Their caterer tested positive across the board. They went to a backup caterer, and of their 150 members, they had 58 attend. They did a phone tree. The members are not ready to come back to group sessions. So whatever we're discussing here is probably 1, 2, or 3 months premature. The planning process is important, I agree. But we're talking to a group that's aging, scared shitless, excuse me, Mary, about their health issues. And SIR is not high on their priority list at all.
I don't disagree with you, John, and nor do I disagree with Dean. We've got a certain calamity here that is not of our choice and is impacting the world, for crying out loud, you know. So all I can say is one thing that we've got that other people don't have, and when I say we, the members and branches of SIR, is we have outdoor activities. Okay. We really don't have luncheons right now in a lot of places because A, the caterers are down with COVID. B, the branches aren't getting enough people signing up for luncheons to meet the caterer's contract requirement. Or C, they're just not getting people for luncheons at all. However, there are a bunch of outside activities that are going on. And we're not exactly a luncheon club like Rotary or Kiwanis. So I guess if I were in branch leadership, I would take a look at what outdoor activities can we offer members in the meantime that they're going to attend. And there may be some branches of very, very old members. They ain't going out of the house. Well, okay. Until COVID gets better under control, they're not going to go to luncheon and they're not going to go to an outside activity. For other large branches, things like golf, bocce ball, whatever, can continue to go. That's one piece. I think the second piece is it's certainly going to take several months, at least several months, for the most successful branches to get their arms around this strategy and get it moving. This is a time when leaders in the branch can work on this project at a time where they may have some freed up time because they don't have to manage luncheons and they don't have to manage activities. And actually, the people that we're calling on don't really have a lot of responsibility for branch operations. They're people that are connected with publicity. They're people connected with attracting new members. So this can continue to be a time in which these members meet on Zoom, form their teams, and put together a strategy, get their branding material cleaned up, and develop message, which they then start putting out in social media in several months when they get the footwork done. Does that answer the question, Sean?
Mark Stewart has a comment.
Mark?
Yeah, I'm just going to concur with you, David, that I think the focus needs to be on the outdoor activities. In particular, golf, as we found that was the major activity of interest in our organization, as well as recruiting. And as I mentioned, as state golf chair, we're willing and able to help any branch that wants to open a golf program and use that as a vehicle for current and new membership. I just looked at our golf program, Dave, in our branch. We've got 80 guys scheduled for the next 5 weeks playing golf. So if you have a healthy golf program, you're going to have a lot of members active. So that's obviously where I think we need to look and focus for those that are interested in golf. Outside of that, if they're not golfers, is look at other potential activities that you don't have right now. I know we have a hiking group. I know another branch, a couple of branches in one of my areas has cycling. There are other things we can do if we are willing to put forth the effort to enhance that activity or to start a new one outdoors. The indoor ones obviously are a constraint right now, but I think that we could look on a smaller scale too. Instead of trying to have 100 or 150 person luncheons, we could emphasize having small group indoor activities where the chances of a large group infection is reduced. So I think the thinking has to go this way, which is contrary to some thinking in some of the branches, I believe.
Yeah, well, when Mark talks about the importance of golf, in a recent survey, we found that about 70% of the people that are now in SUR came because of golf. So if you don't have a golf program in the branch, it's going to affect your membership growth. If you have a relatively weak one, it's going to affect your membership growth. And I know that golf is working on building up the state infrastructure. Nonetheless, what they do every year, what they're doing this year is amazing. And all I can say is if the branch doesn't have a golf program, they should talk to the state committee, because the state, as Mark says, the state committee will work very hard to help them establish a golf program. And it will definitely bring in younger members. Younger members play golf. 70% of the people that come to SUR come because they want to play golf. So if you don't have a golf program and you're aging, there is a way to start a golf program in your branch to attract younger members.
David, if
Dennis.
I may, David,
yes.
If I could add one more comment to this, Mark.
Yes.
And what I meant by that too is to look at, if the guys can't do an 18-hole day, do a 9-hole day or more of them. If they can't golf at all anymore, 9 or 18, one of the things I'm talking with my branch about is doing miniature golf.
Yes.
As a couple thing. That's an outdoor thing again. And it's really not a requirement to be a golfer. It's just more social. But you could do miniature golf. And each group is 4 people. So you got a small group anyway playing on each hole. So you don't have a large crowd again. That kind of thinking, I think we could use golf as centric, even with members that don't play golf. Good
point. I hadn't thought of miniature golf, but I have a friend that's been a SUR member for 20 years. He's a past big SUR. He's at a point where he can't play golf anymore. He started up miniature golf in branch 94, and he is loving it, absolutely loving it. Dennis.
Yeah, I concur with all about the activities, but I'd like to get back to the original message of today's meeting.
Yes, sir.
I have 11 branches without an area governor. So
yes,
none of this information is going there until I send them an email to watch this recorded session. There's not much more I can do. And And I hope that might work, because what hasn't worked is my phone calls and my emails the past 6 months trying to find area governors for area 8 and 9. That's just not working. Back to what John said, I agree entirely. We're not having these, our branches are unable to meet with all the COVID issues. And it's very difficult to go to the branches and talk and promote a nice program like this. I know a lot of work has gone into this. And to go face to face and try to find some people to step up for area governor and such. So I'm glad to hear you, Dave, just say that you don't expect us to have this going in a month or two, because it's going to take a while in my area.
Yeah, you've got some real challenges there, and you've got a little extra there that you've got to get through, and we understand that. We appreciate what you're up against.
So I've got 2 brand new area governors and 2 missing area governors. I'm glad to see Bob Nadell here. I've been in video conferences, Zoom meetings with him and the previous area governor, and I think Bob's going to do a fantastic job. Glad to have him on board.
Well, there's no question the area governors make the real difference in this organization. They're the folks that know the branches. Area governors know the people involved, and if anybody is going to help the branches institute best practices, get stronger, it's going to be the area governors. We at the state board, we're really your servants in a sense of putting together the policy, procedures, and the programs to help you get your job done. You're the people on the ground that make the difference in this organization.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And as an example, with missing area governors for 11 branches, I've had to count out I'm doing my part pins, and I bought a whole bunch of little mailer envelopes. I'm going to mail them individually with an instruction sheet to the big SIRs in those branches. With the area 7 and 10, I can give the pins to the area governors, but it's very time consuming.
Well, let me ask you this. In your last birthday, was this one of your birthday wishes? Have the opportunity to sit down for hours and put together all those packages? Probably not.
My last birthday,
thank you
I said,
for
I'm in my
doing it
second
anyway.
step in my 80s. It's time to maybe start slowing down a little.
I can insert here, Dave. We have the other people that were left out of the whole slide presentation, and I just want to tell them that we will be sending it to them, and I'll discuss it with them after the meeting. But we have Brad and Richard and Tom, and I think Tom is not here, but we've got Brad Hatcher, Richard Carlston, Neil Wheeler, and Richard Hockenbach, I think, has been involved in the meeting, but welcome to the meeting. Sorry it came out the way it did, but here you are.
Yes, one more comment, if I may, Dave.
Certainly.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Tony Lasada for sending out on constant contact, the emails about the home testing kits and the masks. I think, Tony, that's very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I've never gotten such response from the 2 mailings we've made. I'm still getting them for the second one about the N95, but it's really, it tells me again that we've hit a vein in communicating with branches, and that's so important. That's what we're talking about. Messages to or through the branch, which in the future, you'll see some remarks that we're going to put together, suggestions to you, RDs and AGs, to implement better communication with the branches. We're here to help. All we want is your buy-in. We want your buy-in, that you will help develop this plan, give us some input, pro or con, and then we'll march off together. It is a negative situation. We realize that, but we want to deal with the positive. So if we're positive, we'll implement a positive plan, and that will take care of a lot of problems.
Okay, so time to take a swig of your coffee or adult beverage, wet your whistle, because we're going to open up I think the floodgates here for feedback from you. So let's go to the next slide. Do we need to change anything about this plan? I've got my pen out. I've got a piece of paper. I'm going to be writing down your comments so that they are recorded in my notes, and so that we can really do them justice. So let's go ahead and talk about any changes that you would suggest for this program.
Dave, I would like to see more push towards the web page to the conversion of HTML web pages to the new branding of the Sir Starter page, working through Alan Baker. They can leave up their present page if it's an HTML page, and they can do a new starter page. Probably, for instance, I'll just use branch 46, who had an old HTML page, and the new webmaster doesn't have a clue and didn't know the password. So the conversion is happening in a sense that it's real easy, copy paste over to the new using branch. Alan's got it set up and it's working real good. I think more push needs to be done towards the new web page.
Let me talk to Alan and see about how we can communicate the value of the new HTML web page, and perhaps create a users group to talk together about how to make the conversion.
That's already been done.
Okay. So then what we need to do is get the word out about the users group.
Yes, that user group should be is sent out to all the webmasters at present. What we need is the push for the web page for the conversion of those people that are using an HTML to the new branding web page.
Okay. Got it. All right. Good one. What else can we do, gentlemen?
I have found that, or at least thinking about the best way to enhance the other branches and to help each other out, is to have more communication between the branches, inter-branch communication, I guess you want to call it, by getting together with the other branches and having them participate in their activities also. So a lot of the branches are just kind of by themselves, and I think helping the branches that have least number of people in them get together and talk with, even having lunches with the other branches will help spread communications ideas.
Yeah, I think this is a good idea. I know, absolutely. And, among the myriad of things that governors try to bring to branches is this message too, that we're in this together. We're not independent islands out here on our own, that we have friends and we have helpers nearby.
And maybe Dave, you could point out or talk about the meetings we're going to have or hope to have with the growth teams.
Yeah, one of the things that we'd like to do is put together a kind of user group of the growth teams. We'll work with the area governors to put together the scheme, the idea, the strategy for doing that and delivering that. So this is, what should I say? This is support that growth and membership committee want to give to the governors. We can bring some resources to your need to get training for this growth team, especially
you have
branches.
John Kent's hand up. Has been up for quite a while.
Yeah.
Who's
Thank
that? John. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. And I guess you didn't see my hand on the last segment, but there's something I want to comment.
Sure.
And we've been in COVID for about 2 years now. And I think that the numbers of total shut-ins, I mean, those that have really isolated themselves, is dwindling. And I know that by the branches that I'm involved with. And I think we should modify our mindset from, rather than assuming that our members don't want to do anything, I think we ought to give them the option to do stuff so that they can make their own decision. And one way to do this, and we're experimenting with this now, is to get the spouses involved in, especially in the outdoors activities, and like golf, hiking, outside events, and things like that. Museum tours, of course, that's inside, but I think you get my point. And
yes,
I know this probably freaks a lot of those guys out, but when you get the spouses involved, you have a whole different mindset of energy and enthusiasm and friendship and socialization, everything that we're all about. And I don't have any solve all on how to get this done. But I think we can all start thinking about it, or should start thinking about it, to get them involved. Why not? They're involved in a lot of the events anyway. Let's get them involved in golf, couples hiking, couples biking. When you get mama that says she wants to do this, it's being done, period. And I just don't like the, and no offense, but I don't like the mindset that we can't do this and we can't do that. That's not our decision to make. That's a decision for the members to make. So I think we ought to offer them the options and then let them make their own choices.
Yeah, I think you're right. As people think they have to be stuck around the house because their normal activities maybe are a little unsafe, they might really look forward to outside activities that they know are safe with people they know from SIR. Absolutely. We're not a lunch club like Rotary or Kiwanis, where our major activity is luncheon. You look at the number of members that participate in outside activities, it far exceeds the number of people that typically go to a luncheon. So during this time, why not put the emphasis on outside activities? I bet our members will take advantage of it.
Well, Dave, in my branch in San Ramon, we've had couples golf, couples hiking, and couples bocce. And I got to tell you, it's wonderful. And it really generates, and we're getting to a point where we get more people that want to do it than we have space to do it in. For example, we only get so many tee times, or the bocce facility will only allow so many people. So it's working. And I think we ought to be zeroing into the things we can do rather than mindsetting ourselves with the things we can't.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good comment. What else? What else do we need to change about this strategy? John.
Dave, as you know, I'm in the process of trying to find a solution for Area Governor 15, which I've had for 5 years. Mary, this is a question to you. I have Alameda and Contra Costa counties as the region. The largest city in both counties is Oakland, and the SIR branch is the smallest in the entire region. We have 48 men. We had a great holiday lunch last month, and they had probably 70 or 80 people there, including spouses, by the way. But one of my biggest disappointments is that a town of 800,000 or 500,000 people the largest of both counties, has the smallest enrollment. And it's, I'm not sure if it's demographics. I'm not sure if it's socioeconomic. I'm not sure if it's just a bunch of old men. But I've been looking for an answer for 5 years and I haven't found one.
Well, wait a minute. Sorry, muted. Off the top of my head, John, I can't tell you the answer to that question. It is a big question, but I'd be happy to discuss it later if you'd like, and we'll take a look and see what we can come up with. Because it could, you're right, it could be any of those things.
Thanks.
Yeah, certainly. It's worth, that being such a big city, it would be worth doing a little research and see if we can't give you some help on this one.
Yes, and it might just be what we're trying to do here is get the word out. So, but we can do something a little more tailored, maybe if you're interested. So, we can talk.
You know, if there is a television solution, it's certainly there is coverage, be it all the Bay Area local TV stations. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure they give Sir a moment of thought.
Yeah, well, we'll talk to Rick about that and see where we could maybe get you in there.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure.
Mark.
Yeah, David, one thing in the plan I'd like to, maybe if it's not in there, emphasize, besides just branding and all of that, is we, a while back, were pushing business cards, with
yes.
branch information, contact information, website, blah, blah. And I know our branch isn't handing them out anymore to anybody. So the members don't have anything to pass along to a prospective new member. Recently, I was over at a small business and I was talking to some guys in there, and the guys, three of them were golfers. And I went, oh, well, we golf. And none of them had ever heard of Sir.
Yeah.
Number one. And I gave him the website. I didn't have a business card and all that. But what I really would have liked to, I showed him the card I had from our golf program with our 44 tournaments, 5 or 6 high-end places to play golf. And the guy's looking at it and drooling.
Yeah.
But that's my card. I'm not going to give that out. I want to keep it. That kind of thing is a great tool to solicit new membership, which I think is part of this plan. Mm-hmm. But I don't think there's enough emphasis on it to tell branches to do the simple things. Business cards are cheap. Copying a golf program onto a card with a contact name is cheap. And then figure out how to hand it out. And even a non-golfer can hand those out.
Yes.
But I don't see that. We're talking more about sandwich boards and websites and all of that, which is great. But I think these little tools like those cards can be invaluable to getting people to, come out to at least one of our activities and try it.
Mary, would you like to talk a little bit about the materials we have available on the website along this line?
So yes, Mark, we did redesign those business card size handouts, and they are editable. So they aren't specifically focused on golf. In fact, they're a little bit focused on luncheons. And I can't tell you right now without double checking the actual card what's editable, but there is plenty of room to suggest that there's other activities, maybe not a full list though. So if doing a golf specific card is something everybody wants to know, maybe discuss that with Tony and we can see where we go forward.
The golf specific cards would be by branch and would list their program, their courses. But what I really meant by that statement, I realize Vistaprint has the cards out there and I know they're there. I don't think there's enough of an emphasis to the branches about doing it. My branch is not talking about it. I've gotten new cards. I read our minutes. I see nothing about it. I've talked to the big sir of the branch here at a recent event. I know our golf program, the guys make it up, but they make it for the guys playing, not for the guys to hand out for prospective new membership.
Right.
Their thinking isn't that way.
Right. And communication is something that we are going to be talking about on an ongoing basis, because yes, everything should be shared to all the members, not just to somebody who plays golf. I agree with you, Mark.
That's the message I want in the plan, not so much the actual tool, but the message that's obvious that brings in membership if you hand the card out.
Right. And I do want to point out that these are the first steps in the plan, but communications is definitely core to making it work. That's why all the people who we and the chairs we designated for the growth team, they need to be communicating, and they need to be communicating with the BEC and vice versa, so that everybody knows what's going on. So yes, absolutely, communications is key, and we will work on that. And as Dave said, he's taking notes and I'm taking notes, so I will make sure this is on our list.
I'm also taking notes, and one of the questions I have for you, Mark, and I really enjoyed your input today, as well as others. But would you consider messages sent to the AG to then send to your various branches? You know, like we could do something about golf. We could come up with some exciting phrases and methodology to present golf in a good light, or hiking, or bowling, or anything like that, and send it to the AGs and let them distribute it. It's something that's increasing your communication with the branch and giving them something to think about.
Got a question to me, Tony?
Yeah.
Certainly. I'm going to be contacting a lot of the AGs here just to try to get a list of names of the guys in there who run their branch golf programs. We'd love to communicate with them. We've been trying for more than 3 years to try to get that information, as Rick Kendall well knows, so we can communicate directly down to the golf infrastructure and the golf membership.
So what kind of information were you looking for at that time?
Just who runs the golf programs, for instance, in each branch.
Who runs the golf program?
Yeah. It's not out on the roster, and it changes from year to year. And we would like to contact them. We'd love to know the golf membership and contact them directly for our information on our state tournaments. But we've gotten less than around 50% response back. So
let me make a little comment about communication and perhaps the subtle change this program is suggesting. We do have communication problems in this organization. Part of it is that we rely a great deal on the internet, and I think a lot of members are just overwhelmed with the amount of internet traffic they get from all sources, and maybe they tend to tune out most of internet traffic as a result. But it's been very difficult for the state to communicate with the branches. Typically in the past, when the state has introduced a program, it has done so in a meeting and then tried to disseminate the information to the branches by the internet. We've had some difficulty with branches implementing those ideas. What we're trying to do here is ask you governors to communicate this information directly to branch leaders. And of course, that's hampered right now because of COVID. But when you talk to your branch leaders, after you've established a good relationship with them, the message is going to get through a lot more effectively and a lot clearer, because let's be honest, branch leaders are not listening much right now to internet traffic, constant contact traffic from state. Now, we're going to work this year to improve that situation, but the best way to get this message out, and the message is attached here, is if you governors talk directly to your branches. That's just the way it is. So, Rick, you've been waiting for a while.
Yeah, I wanted to go back and visit a little bit about the TV situation. We all understand that COVID is a big problem right now, and it's hard to have meetings and so forth. But what I would like to do is start planning ahead as far as what we're going to do on the TV side. I'd like to have each one of you, do a review of the TV stations in your area and which programs might be receptive to a SIRS segment. I think all these stations with certain programs are looking for information and programs that they want content in their programs, and seniors and mental health and all this sort of stuff is on the top page. It's one of those things that a lot of people are interested in. So what I would ask you to do is as you're watching TV and you see programs that come up and say, hey, that would be a good one for SIRS, and give that information to Tony so we can start building a library and start figuring out which producers we have to get a hold of to run these programs. We can't wait until, okay, it's March or April, now it's open, now let's start doing the program. We need that information, start building that information now. So that's what I'm asking. Area governors, provide that information to Tony. We can start building a library, work with Mary. We need to review the videos that are on wearesir.com. Are those videos that are 5 or 10 minutes or 15 minutes? Are those ones that we can use that, and then combine it with maybe a Zoom meeting with regional directors, area governors, or myself that's going to be on that program? What I would try to do is, I'm an old guy, but I'd like to see people that are maybe a little younger that are going to be on those, and be guys that are riding bicycles or playing golf. We have young guys now that have been starting to join our area. I ran across a fellow that just joined in Modesto. He's probably 51 years old. He's a retired Contra Costa firefighter. He's a colored guy, good looking, strong. I mean, this guy could be a bouncer anywhere. And that's the kind of guy I'd like to see them interview. Why did you join SIRS? Get the young guys out in front.
Absolutely.
So Rick, I'm sorry, Dave. Can I just ask Rick, can you share a little bit about what type of programming you're envisioning so they have a better idea what to look for? I
think the main thing, even like we're trying to do on Facebook, I've been trying to post a lot of stuff up on Facebook, on the state Facebook, and I got 4 or 5 more things I need to put up, is just trying to show the fun that SIRS have and be in front of people. Main thing is having fun, being social.
So you're talking about news programming, those morning shows?
Like Good Morning Sacramento, those kind of things. Yeah.
Okay.
I know they're Good Morning San Francisco's got to be Good Morning San Jose. Every time I travel around in my RV and I get on the local stations, I see them there. I mean, they're pretty common. And some of the programs I've seen, I said, why couldn't that be a program on SIRS? SIR, not SIRS, SIR.
To go along with Rick and talk a little bit about the content we need, Mary's study just a while back determined what SIR has to sell is fun, fun, fun. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That is what we're about, is fun, and we're about friendship. And oh, by the way, we're 70% about golf. So if you want 3 messages to get out over television spots, social media and such, is highlight the fun we have with just a few words and pictures about the fun, highlight the friendship we have, and in all our activities are group, and we're going to make friends, and sure, get out golf, because golf is so very attractive to younger men, and they're looking for an opportunity to play and organize golf. And as Mark has said, they drool over the opportunity to play at some of the private golf courses where we have tournaments. They can't otherwise get on those golf courses. So fun, friendship, golf. Fun, friendship, golf. Those are the messages we need to get out to the community, and it will build membership. Okay, I guess we can move on to the last slide. And I think this is as important as your advice on how we can change this program, and that is what support can we give you?
Oh, I went too far, sorry.
Yeah. What support can we give you as governors to help you be successful, to give you the toolbox you need to do the job as far as membership growth? No wants and needs?
Dave, this is Bob Nadell.
Sure.
I'm of the point now that we just need to get some very specifics. How do we, or what do we put on a Facebook ad or whatever for a local thing? How do we write something for next door? Maybe how do we put up signs in our neighborhood, yard signs like you see for political advertisers all the time? I understand the TV spot's a bigger thing. How do you write a press release that'll have some appeal for local kinds of newspapers? Are there samples? Those are the things that I need. I'll tell you, I need those things for my Area 10.
Absolutely. Okay. We're going to get right on that.
Yes, so most of those things are in the works, but we're trying to set the foundation before getting to those pieces. But now that we know that somebody wants them, we'll, turn the burner on and get those out. And I think that there are existing, Rick just sent out news release standard for announcing new officers. So that's available.
So on the basis of this session, this is really a discussion, and the training session before. Sit down, take a look at your branches, and identify one or two that has the best chance to adopt this program. Reach out to those branches, see if you can get some interest. And at the same time, we'll work on some training materials, some examples, so that when you get your branches selected and you get their leadership to start this program, then we'll have some training materials available. All right?
Which we'll send through the AGs.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, what else? Mark. You're muted.
I think Dennis was ahead of me, Dave.
Pardon?
I think Dennis was ahead of me.
Okay, Dennis. Would you...
Thank you, Mark. That's very kind. What I wanted to say has pretty much been stated, except that I would like to have all these resources available instantly to me by going to the State SIR website.
Yes. Good point. All right. We now have a section in there for all these materials. We need to add to it and probably update you on what's in there. Fair enough. Oh, by the way, when you get an email from the state, please open it and respond to it. We had some, what should I say, touchy response to the invites we sent out via Constant Contact. Not everybody responded. Most everybody opened them, but not everybody responded. So that's something that you individually can help us do, is respond when we send that information out. I think you're next up, Mark.
Great. And I see Dean's next, so that'll be great, because that's something I'm going to talk about. He may want to comment on. I'd like to know what you said. What further support do we want? I think it needs to be clear, everybody, what kind of support the state's going to give. And what I mean by that is if we go to branches and we say, we want you to make your website conform to our branding standards or your newsletter or anything, and they say, we're for it, but we don't have the resources to do it. Is the state going to commit to offering some resources to aid them in doing that and train them?
Yeah.
Communication was mentioned. So a lot of them have little to no email systems, or they haven't committed to constant contact. What are we willing to do to help them maybe commit to constant contact with our email infrastructure and committee? Those kind of questions would need to be answered before we go to a branch and we get asked that question and we don't know the answer.
Good point.
We need to have it in our pocket when we go to talk to the BECs of each branch and suggest to them that they make these commitments and changes.
Yeah. Good point.
So Dean's up next and he can comment probably because a lot of this is under his infrastructure.
Dean?
We've offered help to all of the webmasters. We've offered help with constant contact. If you area governors are not aware of that, then I guess shame on us. But we have offered help in both of those areas to all of the branch webmasters, to any branch who wants to use and operate constant contact. We have a license for constant contact that we share. In addition to that, we used to have a whole section, whole web page with probably 40 links on it for ideas, tools, and examples on how to recruit and promote your branches. I'm sorry, there is a ton of information available out there on our websites, and there's going to be more. Mary's going to be helping create more, but for God's sakes, use the damn information that's out there and available to you with examples. There's examples of newsletters. There's examples of things that people could post to their local newspapers. There's examples of the SIR card. There's the SIR forms, the trifolds, now the quadfolds. There is a ton of information out there, guys. You know, the state has made a lot of information available over the years, and it's just not being used. And that is something, you know, it's like pushing a wet noodle. You know, the branches just do not seem to be able to take that information and use it as an example and utilize it. It takes initiative at the branch level. The state can't do it all for you. And so you area governors have got to go out there and communicate that these resources are available to your branches, and you need to be able to show them where the resources are and assist them in using them. Because that's the only thing that we can do. We can't do it for you.
Let me follow up, Dean, with a few things that the state is doing to support the governors. One of the issues that has been identified for a while is that small branches find it difficult to fill out the 10 positions on the BEC. The state has just approved a new minimum BEC size, okay? And I just want to let the governors know this is a tool that you can take to some branches that are in difficulty. And we reduced that to, I believe, 3 officers, 2 directors. And you have to have a president, and you have to have a secretary, and you have to have a treasurer by state law in a branch. And then you have 2 directors. The president can also be the secretary, can also be the treasurer, but the treasurer and the secretary can't be the same person. Okay, I'm talking quickly, but I just want to say that this is a positive support to the branches. This is a positive support to you for trying to prop up some of these difficult branches. Another thing that the state is doing to support you is take a very hard look at your duties and responsibilities and get rid of the duplicated duties, get rid of the unnecessary duties. So your job description will be reduced, a good deal, and the concentration will be on that stuff that absolutely has to be done for the good of the order and to help us be successful. Okay. This is the year of the branches, and the state is focusing on building helps and toolboxes and more friendly policies and procedures for the branches. That will make your job easier. Keep track of the minutes from the state board meetings, because that's one of the best ways to get these to find out how the state is changing. And we're going to be changing a lot of the policy procedures through the year. So keep track of those board minutes, and you'll find we're doing additional stuff to this to support you in your position. Okay, I'm going to get off that pitch, and let's move back to any further questions about support that we can give you. Okay.
I have a quick, Dave.
Yes,
Ed.
sir. Yes.
Oops.
You know, we've got how many area governors? 17?
19.
19. How many branches?
Right now, 98 for all intents and purposes.
Okay, so 19. So that means a typical area governor has 5-ish.
Yes, sir.
Is that reasonable? I don't think. I'm of the opinion, frankly, that if we broke that down to 3, a couple things might happen. One is the area governor might have the time to get to 3 branches. The second thing is the job may be more manageable, so we could maybe recruit more area governors.
Okay.
But you think about 5 branches, plus the area governor typically has a lot of responsibility continuing in his own branch.
Yes.
So I'm just wondering if our span of control isn't frankly screwed up and make it impossible for these guys to do the job that not only the state wants them to do, but they'd like to do themselves. But frankly, I don't have the time, and I got another life also.
Yeah. Well, that's right. And as we get older, that life that we want to pursue it gets more important, right? We have less time to do it. Absolutely. Yeah, let's take a look at that. What else do we have? All right, well, then let me open it up to any final comments for the good and harmony of the order. Wide open. Okay, so what do we want to accomplish here? Well, we want to take your input, and we want to work it into the path going forward. It's clear we need to better identify what the path going forward is. I want to say that for the new governors, there will be a training coming up at the end of February for you. It will be a relatively short training, but we'll give you a clear overview how to be successful in your job. So look for the announcement. New governor training, end of February. We're having a number of changes going on in the state policies and procedures to benefit the branches. The best way to find out about that information is the board meeting minutes, as well as looking at the state website. And that state website can almost change daily, and the people that maintain it are very good about highlighting new items. So if you don't check in every few days on on the state website, I would do so, because there's a lot of toolbox information for you, the governors, on how to be successful and how to make your branches successful. And yes, this is the year of the branch, and we're trying to support our branches and make life friendlier and more successful for them. You're the key element in that. We know that the communication that you have with the branches is absolutely crucial to their hearing best practices, their hearing the positive changes that are going on in CERB. It isn't the internet, it's you. So please keep up on these changes. It isn't that difficult, and pass them along to your branches. Rick, would you like to make a closing comment to our group?
I think the main thing is I'm really glad to see the new faces here and the questions that have been brought up. Those guys that didn't speak up, I'd sure ask you to speak up in due time. I know you have a lot of knowledge. Some of you are from some very large branches that we need to learn from on what those successes are that we can share with other branches. When I was an area governor, I thought that was my primary responsibility. It's hard now for you to get out to meetings because there aren't any meetings, but I would sit in on lunch meetings and also BECs and gather information from branches that seemed to be more progressive and share it with other branches. I think that's one of the biggest responsibilities of an area governor. But I'm sure glad to see the new faces and see you here, and look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Okay, in closing, let me say that we have a couple of area governors here that are going through some medical procedures, and our prayers and best wishes go to you, and may you have a brighter future and get past these temporary troubles. And with that, let me close this meeting. Thank you all for attending, and we are now adjourned in peace and harmony. Thank you.